Hello, welcome in everyone. Welcome to the Greatness Game. Whoa, I just hit the whole table. My name is Tina Patton and I am so glad to be with you. Hopefully you are taking a little break, afternoon break, lunch break. You get a little inspiration, actually a lot of inspiration. Today is one of those topics that will change your life forever. I could literally speak on 2 or 3 hours on how I've used this one distinction on how to break self-sabotage and bad habits. And we have all been there. We probably have some right now. So how this helps you in your life is unlimited, whether it's in your health, in your marriage, in your income. If you are a business owner, this is a life changer because there are habits in your business that do not work. There are ways that we self-sabotage that does not work, right? And sometimes we don't even know that we're doing it. Sometimes we do, right? So there's sometimes that we catch ourselves and say, oh my gosh, I did that to myself again. So today is all about self-sabotage and bad habits and breaking those. So come on in. It's the Greatness Game. My name is Tina Patton. Let me just get this here. And I am the owner of Greatness Training and author of the Greatness Game. And I love empowering people in their greatness and in their greatness leadership, whether that shows up in your parenting, in your life, in your income. I love helping people be empowered around their money. Again, whether that is in a business, multi-million-dollar business, or it's in your career, or it's at home. Some people have a great career, but they're very disempowered around their home money, their home budget, how to manage their money, how to stay on a budget, right? All those kind of things. So there's all kinds of ways that we derail ourselves in self-sabotage and bad habits that, we are not born knowing how to break that. We have to learn. These are learned skills. And that's why I'm so passionate about the work that I do, is it's all learned. We are not, a lot of us aren't raised with a lot of these habits, a lot of these skills, a lot of these mindsets. So please know that anything that you want in your life is learned. You learn a skill that's going to make that happen. So the Greatness Game is all about your mental toughness, your leadership, and your greatness games, because there is a huge difference between what? Smallness games and greatness games. So today, let's get started because this is, you have to stay with me on this one because it's not, one of those simple things. It really takes some mindfulness around, your behaviors, your habits, because you're taking a habit that you have been doing for 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, and you're going to break this. It is not easy, but there is methods behind it. You could go to an addiction specialist. You can go to a counselor that specialize in any habit that you want to break. There's someone that can help you. So how this shows up in my practice is when I'm working with small business owners and I can see it, they can't, they self-sabotage an element of their business, right? And so I can see it, I can help them break that. And when they get their power around that, their business explodes, right? But that one bad habit could be literally sabotaging the whole business or the income of that business. So today we are talking on the Greatness Game about breaking habits, bad habits, and self-sabotaging. So this is the thing. I wanted to kind of tell you a little bit of a story, and then there's 3 steps in this that you have to have all 3. And if you've read anything online around self-sabotage, habit loops, breaking habits, it really follows these 3 steps. So come on in, get comfortable. We'll be 15, 20 minutes. You're going to learn something really, really big about yourself. So the first and foremost thing is, habits are all about rewards. Like you're getting something from that habit. So I want to put it in the frame of working out because that's something that's very new to me. Okay, so I haven't worked out in 15 years. And last year when I said, I want better health, when I turned 50, I want the best body that I've had in my adulthood, and I want to be healthy, right? So that was a dream, that was a thought, but all of my smallness came in and it's like, good luck with that. You're so out of shape, you're so old, you're too far gone, all those excuses that get in our way, right? But this is what happens is when I start to step into this dream, step into this commitment, what happens is our present self wants like more sleep, right? So if I wake up at 6 o'clock and I want to go to the gym, my future self that has this goal, this reward called lose 10 pounds, become strong, become healthy, right, is now battled with my present self that says, I want more sleep. So they're both battling for a reward that they both want. So you have your present self that wants something and your future self that wants something. So when those two things, get in a battle, one of them is going to win, right? So is the present self going to win and say, yeah, I'm going to stay in bed instead of going to the gym? Or is the future self going to win and say, no, get up, and don't you remember your commitment and your dream? Get up and go to the gym. So first and foremost, that's just one example. So we're always in that battle of, if you own a business, you have a goal, you have a dream of impact and income and what your business is all about. You have that dream, right? But then you have your present self that has its own habits and its own rewards and its own little ways of thinking that is in contrast to that. So all of a sudden, when you set up a goal or a dream for yourself, what automatically happens is you create now this conflict, present self against future self or future dream, right? And now you're actually creating a fight. So that gives you I know that's such a small little way of showing it, but it's really interesting to learn what's actually going on, right? It's not as easy as saying, oh, I want, I'm a $100,000 business now, but I want to be a $200,000 business next year or $500,000 business. Okay, good. Let's go. And you just go. If it was that easy, every business would be killing it. Every dream would be fulfilled. Everybody would be at their weight. It doesn't happen like that, right? Because you create a dream that is in conflict with our present self, which is comfortable, eating what it wants to eat and sleeping in or whatever habits, right? Yeah. So the shift is starting to, and I'm going to give you 3 steps of how do we start shifting. It's mindset, 1000% mindset, but there's 3 steps in this. Is how do you help your future self win those fights, right? So 6 months ago, when I started training with my personal trainer, I'm telling you this from my facts, my personal story of this work. And I've been doing this work for 20 years, and I have broken a lot of my habit loops and bad habits and self-sabotaging. I mean, a ton. I have a ton of stories. However, one of my darkest, hardest ones is around body, is around working out. And I've always failed in this department. Like I start and I fail. I start, I sabotage, I fail. I start, I sabotage, I fail. Because my present self always wins. Like it just, I don't want to. I want to sleep in, or I have work to do, right? Or my daughter needs me. Like there's always an excuse that validates this present self's fight. And so my future self couldn't ever win. It's like future self dream, like strong and lose weight and healthy. Like it never could win. So that's, hopefully that gives you a little bit of concept around present self, future self always conflicting. So the moment you create a goal or a dream, you're creating a conflict. But when you are empowered around knowing, like, I know the conflict's coming. I know the conflict is coming. and you are empowered and you are equipped and you're like, I'm ready. I'm ready to fight for my future self, okay? That's the frame that first and foremost has to shift, is saying, I'm gonna fight for my future self, not my present self. Right there, right? If I taught you nothing else except that, it would change your life. Start fighting for your future self, not your present self, okay? And as I say to a lot of people, fight for your greatness, not your smallness. Now, we're not talking about greatness and smallness today, but it's important to know that a lot of people will fight for their smallness, right? Instead of fight for their greatness, because it's more comfortable, okay? So I want you to fight for your future self. But if you don't even know what that is, you can't fight for vagueness. And you've heard me so many times on these series talk about you have to move your train out of Vagueville. No Vagueville. Vagueville does not work. If I just said about this working out, if I just said, yeah, I just want to work out and just, kind of be healthier. Like, that's not a strong enough reward. That's not a strong enough vision to pull me out of bed when my excuses, show up. So I had to really look at the vision of like, when I turn 50, I'm going to be the strongest I've ever been. I'm going to have the best body I've ever had. And I'm going to be empowered around food. I'm going to really be empowered around food. So it was just this really juicy, amazing dream that I could fight for. Does that make sense? Yes, yes. Fight for your future self. So welcome in if you came in. Hi, Judy. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Naya. Mwah, I haven't seen you in so long. Welcome in. Yes, Patricia Surround. Yes. That was you 4 years ago. I remember. She could, and yours was similar, right? The food and the body stuff, just not being able to get that, the body and the health and the strength that you wanted to. And she got in action, and now she's doing, first of all, national champion ballroom dancer, and doing bodybuilding competitions at 50. Rock star, hero. So Naya, yes, fight for my future self. Fight for your future self. Create your future self. I haven't even gotten to the teaching yet, so hold on. Fight for your future self, but you've got to set up what that future self is. Maybe it's like when we were getting out of debt, I envisioned, this is 7 years ago, I envisioned us standing there completely debt-free, and what we could do then with all that money and our generosity and our travel and what was possible, right? So that future self that I created, that dream, was so much bigger than the present self at the time, which was just like, oh, put it on a credit card, or, not playing on a budget, I mean, there was all kinds of money habits that were not powerful. So, you set up a future self that you're willing to fight for, that's bigger than your present self. And then you pretty much are telling your present self, like, game is going to change. I'm creating a greatness game, and this game is going to change, and you're going to lose because I'm fighting for the future self. All right. So you can come back to this video anytime that you start to lose your, lose your grip on your greatness game in your future. And you start going back to your present self game, you watch this video again, right? It's going to be on, everything's transferred to my YouTube channel. So this is the thing. I'm going to tell you 4 habits that I use this work for. So 1, my workout, for sure. I would have never been able to work with a personal trainer 4 or 5 times a week without really setting this game up and using the work I'm going to tell you about today. 2, leaving sugar. I was totally addicted to sugar. Oh my gosh, I love sugar. I love sugar, but I totally am in control of sugar. Now, I can have 1 Oreo or 2 Oreos instead of like 20, right? So I have food control and sugar control. That's number 2. 3 is my morning routine. So my morning routine is about an hour. And it is really, this little thing is bugging. Sorry, I just had to fix it. I'm sorry, I just worked out, so my hair is crazy today. This little guy is bugging me. All right, so 1 hour morning routine. I would have never been able to do that if I didn't do this work. That morning routine, I'm telling you, the bigger your game is in your business and in your life, I don't care if you're a stay-at-home mom or you're $1 million CEO, it doesn't matter. You are both playing greatness games. You matter, your life matters, your family matters, your employees matter. So what you do in the morning sets your whole day up to win, and you're empowered and you're focused and you're intentional. I wouldn't have been able to do an hour-long morning routine if it wasn't for this. I broke some old self routines because I would do my morning routine in like 5 or 10 minutes and then I would get to work. That doesn't work. So that was a habit that I switched. And then the fourth one is just being more present. Like I wanted to be more present with people and just authentic and present, whether it was with a girlfriend or a client or even like at school with my daughter's friends or at a barbecue. Like I just wanted to be more present and less, worry and my head everywhere. So those are 4 major habits that I became empowered around. And I really broke and got disenchanted with the smallness games I was playing. So here's the thing, let me start teaching this. And hopefully, obviously in this forum, it's limited. So I'm gonna just do my best around teaching these 3 pieces. So let me just see where I wanna start. So this is the thing, is what we're looking at is habits and habit loops. So you have a habit of doing something and you keep doing it, right? And you've been doing it for 20 years or 30 years or whatnot. And a habit loop is created with 3 things. It's a trigger, it's a behavior, and then it's a reward. So like the trigger could be stress, right? When was the last time you were stressed? Or it could be worry, or it could be someone was mean to you, right? Choose anything. Looking at your bank account, right? So there's a trigger, stress, worry. And then the behavior is go to the refrigerator and eat 3 donuts, or go outside and smoke a cigarette, or spend 3 hours in a rabbit hole in Facebook, right? So there's a trigger, then there's a behavior, and then there's a reward from the behavior. So the reward would be, this trigger is stress. Oh my God, I'm so stressed. Coping behavior is eating donuts or smoke. And then the reward is like relief. Like you don't have to deal with that stress. Like you can enjoy the donut right now, right? So this is this is all about the reward. And sometimes the reward is only 5 seconds, but it's so worth it. And that's why we keep, each Oreo is 5 seconds. So we keep another one and all of a sudden we have 20 Oreos or 3 cigarettes or 2 hours on Facebook, rabbit hole. So, or sleeping, right? So there's all kinds of ways that we cope with the triggers in our life. Okay, let me say it again. There's all kinds of ways that we cope with the triggers in our life. So there's a trigger, there's a coping mechanism, and then there's some kind of reward. And so for me, that was like one of mine. So a stress trigger, eating some kind of sugar, and it was a relief. I don't have to look at that stress. I can enjoy the sugar at the moment. So let me show you another one. So a trigger, say a mean person, whether it's someone in your household or someone at work or external or someone on social media saying something mean, right? That's a big trigger for you. And then a coping mechanism might be, again, TV, sleeping. It's some kind of avoiding, right? And then the reward is you get to stuff those feelings. Like you don't have to recognize those feelings. And you get to, the reward is that TV show, okay? So, or that food. Now, when I did this years ago, oh my gosh, probably 10 years ago was the first time that I personally did this kind of work, is my thing was around food. So I put a sign in my refrigerator, literally like a sign that I taped in my refrigerator for a year that said, what you are hungry for is not in here. And what that was addressing for me was, I'm hungry to change the world. I'm hungry to change people's lives. I'm hungry to share greatness in the world, right? I'm hungry to connect with people. I'm hungry to make a difference. You know, there's lots of things that I'm hungry for. But when I used to get triggered, you know, whether I was anxious, stressed, I'm nervous, it was good or bad stress, I would go to food. And so that sign was my little it was just a little interruption that said, are you eating because you're hungry, or are you eating because you're stuffing a feeling? Okay, so that was my big first step into this. Okay, so coping with the triggers, yes. So you know, and this is the 3 steps. So listen up. So now that I gave you some examples of the trigger, behavior, reward, the very first step in this is awareness. So seeing, you know, I first had to see, what are my habits? What's a bad habit that I'm doing that drives I know it drives me crazy. I don't like it. But I still do it, because this is why we do it, and we do it, and we do it, because we get enough payoff, we get enough reward. So for me, my very first one that I attacked was this emotional eating and the sugar piece. So first and foremost, I had to have awareness of a habit loop. It's like, oh, look in the last week and look at a behavior that you don't really love. Like, oh yeah, every single day, 3 hours on YouTube, wasting time, or sleeping, you know, when I'm not tired, eating when I'm not hungry. So pick one of those. Okay. So the first and foremost on how to break this is awareness. Oh, I get up and I go to the refrigerator 5 times a day when I'm not hungry, because I'm avoiding something, I'm stuffing something, I'm emotionally eating. Okay. Awareness. Now, the second step of this, I just want to read my notes because I don't want to miss anything. Okay, so the second step is, now that you see your trigger, when I'm stressed, when this happens, or when this doesn't go right, or whatever, I then do this behavior. I go eat, okay? The third is then the reward. So here's the second step. Asking yourself, what is the reward I'm getting? So when I go to the refrigerator 5 times a day, what's the reward? Besides that, you know, the little sugar, what's the reward I get? What does the sugar serve? And for me, it was a distraction around the stress that I was dealing with. It was stuffing feelings that I didn't want to look at, right? So there's all kinds of rewards. You know, when you go take a nap, when you're not tired, there's something that there's that reward is, you know, avoiding something that you don't want to deal with, a hard conversation maybe. So step 1, awareness around the habit. 2, asking yourself, what is my reward? What am I getting out of this? Okay. This is the key to this whole thing. Explore. You see the reward. You know, you really see the reward. Okay. So that's key, is seeing how, because this is all about self-sabotaging. You know, instead of dealing with that hard feeling, or maybe that hard conversation, or that thing that didn't go right, from your greatness, from your leadership, from your power, you went and ate, you went and napped, you went and avoided, right? Which only just creates that habit loop again. It says, oh, when I'm stressed and I don't want to handle something, I go distract, I go do this, right? So you're definitely not building your greatness leadership. You're not addressing that thing that needs you. So the second piece is, what is my reward? What am I getting from this behavior? Okay. And the key This is the key to the second piece, is when I could see, oh, I'm avoiding, I narrowed my eating down to avoiding something hard. Like that was mine. I was like, oh, okay. So now eating is not eating. It's not even the enjoyment of that sugar or whatnot. I saw my pattern very clear. The reward was a distraction from something hard I had to do. As a leader, as a business owner of 2 businesses, as someone who runs our family, I'm always having to do hard things, hard conversations, make hard choices. And so keep, avoiding that by eating sugar. First of all, it's going to put on a ton of weight. But 2, it's not who I am, right? It's not the powerful leader I need to be and hold myself to be. So when I saw what I was really doing, and this is the hard part of this, you have to call yourself on it, right? So this is such the juicy part of this, is when you see the reward and you go, oh, well, that's stupid. That's not who I am. You can start to become disenchanted with that reward. Instead, it's like, no, go have that 5-minute conversation as a leader, as a powerful greatness leader you are, instead of going and eating. Okay? So it does take work to be aware of your habit loop and then to explore the reward you're getting, because you are getting stuff out of your coping behaviors. We all are. There's tons of rewards in it. And the key is to become disenchanted with that reward. Okay. Now the third step. The third step is super exciting. And it really goes back to what I talked about in the beginning. And that is to create new rewards. New rewards. Okay. So just take my example before. So if I got something hard, like I have to do something hard, I have to send a hard email or make a hard choice, or I would go and eat. Okay, so there's my habit loop, and I would do it 5 times a day. Okay, I'd go and eat. Ooh, relief. Then my reward is, I got distracted from that. I got some, I felt good. I didn't have to deal with that hard feeling, and I could avoid. Okay, so that was my habit loop 5 times a day for whatever, 20 years. The new reward is this. This is the new habit. I am not going to get up to the refrigerator when something hard I have to deal with. I'm going to pray. That's one of my new behaviors. I'm going to pray about the situation. I'm going to think through, who do I need to be? And I'm going to take action. I'm not going to go eat. I'm going to take action and I'm going to deal with this. And the reward for me was feeling so proud that I just dealt with things like this with velocity. So instead of 5 or 6 things a day, hard things that triggered me, and I would go eat and I would distract for 5 or 10 minutes. I mean, look, I got like an hour, hour and a half back into my life just by not going and eating for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and distraction. Okay. And this is it's so big if you are willing to dive into this and really practice this. So old behavior would be, oh, I'm stressed about this hard thing. I'm going to go eat. And the reward would be, yay, I get to avoid. And now the new behavior is, I'm going to pray. I'm going to think through who I need to be and what I need to say, and I'm going to do it. And the new reward is feeling proud of myself and practicing that greatness leader. Every day, it's a muscle. Everything is a muscle, right? If I say I'm a greatness leader, which is my commitment, then I have to practice that every day. So the first couple of weeks of this, oh my gosh, I can't tell you guys. Here's the beautiful part. The new reward of feeling proud of myself every time I handled something hard. And every time I handled something hard, I was practicing this big dream of being a greatness leader. Like it's just muscle, stronger. And that reward was so much bigger than the 5 minutes, of sugar. And so all of a sudden, back to what I was saying, the future self and the present self, all of a sudden, who starts winning? Future self. Future self that says greatness leader. This is who I am. Greatness, I'm a great mom. I'm a great CEO. I'm a great whatever. Fill in your blank. You got to have that future self of yourself and help that person win over the present self that wants some sugar. It's like, I'm disenchanted with sugar. It doesn't serve me. Doesn't serve my greatness. Doesn't serve my future goals. What does is sitting here and handling this hard thing. So I know that, literally this is taught over, this is such a big concept. So, read more about it online, but becoming disenchanted with your old behavior and your old rewards and creating new rewards. So that's really the key to understanding why you're self-sabotaging. And I would love to hear from you guys to hear how you're implementing this one, because I want you to really choose one bad habit or a place where you keep self-sabotaging. And I want you to choose one that's really going to make a difference in your life and do this work. Have awareness around the habit. 2, explore your rewards and ask yourself, what am I getting from this? And start to become disenchanted with that reward. And 3, create new rewards that's better, juicier than that old reward. And I'm going to add a 4th. It's just my own, this is work that, any counselor, any addiction, anybody that works in addiction that really helps people break bad habits will teach you. But I'm actually going to choose a 4th, and that goes back to what I said in the beginning, and that is to fight for your future self. And I talk about it all the time on these videos, is fight for your future self, not for your past self, not even for your present self, for your future self, who you say you're becoming, who you are committed to, whether that's in your, your body, health, your financials. Like, I can't tell you, when I created this vision of myself, fully empowered around money, no debt. That was a far dream than where we were sitting at the time. But I fought for that future self and I won, right? So that's one game, one greatness game that I won. I'm winning my body health game, but that's new actually in this last year, like I said. So I had to become disenchanted with sugar, disenchanted with food that didn't serve me, disenchanted with the excuses of why I don't want to go to the gym. There's a lot of things that you just have to become disenchanted with because you're championing this future self. So I hope that makes sense. Give me some hearts, give me some feedback if this, I know it's sometimes when I teach big concepts, I'm trying to break it down so I can teach it in a way that makes sense. So I hope that this helps your mental toughness and that you can, start to create a game. Choose one game, one greatness game that you're going to win that's important to you right now. And work these 3. So if there's anything that you want me to clarify or, do another video on, let me know. And this is the thing, I already told you the homework, the action. So the action is to choose one habit or one place that you self-sabotage yourself and do these 3 steps and start to champion your future self, and then use the 3 steps to get yourself there. And it takes some time, but I promise you those new rewards, I just can't tell you. Those new rewards are so much more rewarding than the rewards that you have right now. It is, and this is, when I'll tell you, one of my clients 4 or 5 years ago, who was in a really bad habit, and he broke the two habits that were just sabotaging his income, and we created a new game and new habits, and within about 18 months, he was a multi-million-dollar company. I mean, that's how our habits can get in the way of our income. I mean, we are always in the way of our income. So I hope this helps. Please put any comments or anything that you need clarified. Tomorrow is my last daily greatness game. I'm going to keep doing videos, but probably once a week. So join me tomorrow. And it's going to be a really special, great video. So please join me here, 12:30 Pacific time tomorrow for my last video. I love you guys. Thank you for joining me on the Greatness Game. I'm Dina Patton. My website is dinapatton.com. Free downloads for y'all are at amazinggreatness.com. So enjoy those. Have a fabulous day, and I will talk to you soon.